Working a machine that stamps holes in plastic containers. Like in the pic. Officially was not even old enough to work this job, was 15 myself, and everyone else 18 plus. I would say 25 was the average age. Literally all minorities are white trash. Got screamed at because the piece of shit Wagie built machine kept breaking. The thing was so fast no could actually keep up. Super loud. I did this shit for $2.30 per hour. Makes me so mad I want to go back to that place and burn it to the ground. The only redeeming thing was that we got to drink free beer every Friday and Saturday. Though this beer was always expired. I mixed industrial grade washer fluid for 1 year in big 1000 L cubes. It gave me acne. Also the powder you put it to make it blue is so strong your snot was permanently blue. Even if you wore a face mask it would find a way in there. Also I got paid €1,400 monthly lol. Worked in a boiler room at lowest level. Consistently told by actual employees, dude you work too hard too fast, this is a government job get my refreshing manual labor done in 2 hours. Begged for more shit to do, don't get it. Sit on phone for 5 hours waiting for someone to tell me to do something. Showed up late 2 times and they fired me lmao fuck that shit I just wanted to work hard. Night shift at the Clorox bottling plant working on a type of assembly line packaging bottles. I can still smell the burning plastic 11 p.m. 7 a.m. Line went so fast someone would always fuck up and stop the line, everyone on meth to try to keep up and stay awake. Did 3 weeks then no call no showed. At the same place I had to put handles into these buckets. It hurt like hell after 4 hours. Also you had to get an unreasonable amount per hour. If you did not reach the target you needed to stay longer and finish it, unpaid. One day the crew leader, or whatever was sick so I had to do it. They kept Excel sheets where you could see how many bucket stacks per hour everyone was able to do. The average was like 15 and the target was set at 20. That was the day I quit. Worked on a chicken farm. It was literally beyond comprehension. The smell. Fuck me dead, the stench of the rotting chickens. The inbred motherfuckers running the joint, B&J, owned different farms about 30 minutes away from each other. They were married to the ex-wives of each other after one of their wives cheated with the other. The leading hand was an ex-con who rode around on a tractor going 15 miles per hour over what would be considered borderline insane speed carting 50k worth of eggs, while high as fuck, oftentimes on mushrooms or methods, screaming at kangaroos who dared to hop across his path. Wiping ancient demented people's asses, changing diapers, washing them with sponges. Construction work that ruined my CNS so now I'm constantly in pain and physically weak. I have nothing to show for it either, I'd have been better off robbing people. Working on a production line in a medium-density fiberboard factory. Die changes on a 3-story tall steam platen press, 400-degree Fahrenheit operating temp, in the summers with no AC, no ventilation, etc. Nearly blacked out from heat exhaustion multiple times. Press caught on fire a few times. 30-foot wall of flame in a few seconds, loud roaring sound. Using a fire hose was pretty cool. Nearly fell off the top of the press a few times. Other fun events working there. Pressure vessel exploded 20 feet away from me. Ripped a hole through 3/8 steel like it was paper. Used to walk right up against a pressure vessel every hour or two to do QC measurements. Guy had his arm ripped off by a conveyor belt, OSHA recordable, that I regularly worked on. Guy drowned in a waste recycling pond a few decades ago. People popping pills and shooting heroin in the bathrooms. Rampant drug alcohol abuse, even while operating heavy machinery. Working in HVAC in Australia. Crawling through domestic roof spaces on a 40°C day to fix duct and find gas leaks. Getting paid $16 per hour. One day I was so dehydrated because of the immense heat and was forced to on top of a factory roof to look at a broken aircon, and in my delirious state I stepped on a skylight on the ROOF, thin piece of plastic designed to let light shine into the factory. As soon as I realized all that stood between me and a 3-story drop, I jumped away, and it cracked underneath me. One leg fell through, but the rest of my body was able to cling on and I pulled myself back onto the roof. All of this for $16 per hour. Yeah, I work making bespoke medical shoes for hospitals, not the greatest job in the world, but not horrific like some of the anons here. But a couple guys at work will go to the toilets to play Call of Duty on their phones and then complain their day is dragging. Or they'll do half-arsed work that doesn't pass inspection and gets returned to them because it looks shit and complain about that. Usually my days go stupidly quick, but because of COVID there's not too much work coming in right now, so I just take my time a bit and keep an eye on shitcoins at my bench. Aw man. I had an assembly job where I swear some of my colleagues put an impressive amount of effort into doing as little work as possible. Constant smoke breaks, 15-min toilet breaks multiple times a day, literally standing around the shop floor doing nothing half the time. Looking over their shoulders all the time in case a manager showed up. I genuinely think they would have been less tired if they would have just worked at a steady rate all day like I did. If you have two brain cells to rub together you can always find some work that needs doing. I almost missed that job. I got fairly strong wrestling steel sheets and pallets all day. Pay was poor though. I got paid to clean out a trailer truck full of wet wood bark once. Like I had to scoop it out shovel by shovel. An entire 18-wheeler trailer full. I did it in a day. Couldn't move at all the next day. Guy, not an employee, beats the shit out of his GF employee in the parking lot. Security refuses to hand over security footage unless subpoenaed. Guy beats the shit out of his wife. Goes to work. Gets arrested by state police in front of everyone. Guy gets into a bar fight with my garbage man. Knocks him unconscious and he dies from a brain bleed. Several years in prison. Coworker caught high on drugs. Goes to company-sponsored rehab. Somehow ends up in jail while in rehab. Keeps his job with pay, accident and sickness leave. Gains seniority while in jail. Later returns to work. Immediately wins bid for a higher paying job due to gain seniority. Yeah, it was a good time, keck. I worked as a pest controller and one of my first jobs was to get up early, go to a big warehouse and retrieve 60+ glue boards from beneath the racking, dispatch, kill the mice rats trapped on there, and then reset the glue boards. They would scream loudly and desperately wriggle to escape, but the more they moved, the more of their little body became stuck to the board. I nearly quit that day. I'm a college janitor, but I get my job done in 3 hours before market open and just hide out in an empty office all day with my TV, mini fridge, and ThinkPad. One of these days I'll get caught. Maybe. Not a manual job per se, though I've done plenty. Worst job I ever had was Britfag Domino's as a delivery driver during the most recent World Cup when we had our best performance in decades. Every match day, without fail, 100 fucking orders in the space of like an hour. I don't even live in a city. You'd come in off a hectic delivery and be expected to instantly answer a phone or hop on and help make food in between the 20 seconds you had till next order came out, unless it was already done. This happened non-stop in the middle of summer for at least 7 hours straight, no breaks. I did this for like £7 an hour. I smoked over a pack a day to cope with the stress. Working night shift at temp food factory job over the summer. Show up and wait in line to get assigned a job. Last person in line, all the good jobs are already assigned. Get assigned buckets. Oh fuck. Walk down long hallway to the bucket room. Smells like food that's been sitting in a hot room for days. Enter bucket room. Hundreds of 5-gallon buckets stacked to the ceiling with food caked on from the past few days. Lots of red coloring. Shit, it's from the spicy sauce. Start moving buckets into the sink and washing them. Hot water hitting the leftover spicy sauce in the buckets creates a dense spicy vapor that fills the room. Hard to breathe, coughing, entire face is burning, tears streaming down my face. Spend 8 hours cleaning every bucket. The last manual labor job I ever worked. Walmart distribution center. High production standards causes a lot of people to quit 3 months into the job. No AC during the summer and no heating during the winter. Dust or God knows what fills the air of the whole warehouse from trailers, old boxes, and trash compactors. Pays the most out of all warehouse jobs, tops out at around $23 for hourly workers. I don't recommend working there. I had a job gluing slices of rock to glass slides. After which someone else would grind the rock down really thin so it could be examined with a microscope. Some kind of mining-related analysis. Anyway, it was necessary to get the glue layer really thin, or all the rock would be ground away and the slide would be useless. And no bubbles allowed in the glue. The shitty thing was this: in order to speed up the setting of the epoxy glue, the rocks were heated. And they were so hot you couldn't handle them without pain. But you couldn't wear gloves, because then you wouldn't have the dexterity needed to rub out the excess glue and bubbles with a stylus. So you just had to fucking burn your fingertips all day. That was the only job I have ever been fired from. Because I couldn't get the motherfucking bubbles out of the motherfucking glue. Cart pusher. All we did 40 hours a week. Rain, snow, shine, blazing hot, or blistering cold, it didn't matter. Only time we couldn't push carts was when it was lightning outside, and that was just because they didn't want to be sued if we got hit. We got blamed for everything. Profits down for the day. There weren't enough carts in the building for customers to easily grab. Parking lot a mess. Cart pushers didn't do their job, not that we were understaffed, asked for help and were ignored. Working manual construction framing in Louisiana during the summer's worst pain I've felt was stepping multiple times on upward sticking nails that were left on scrap air or wood. My dad does the same work, and he's had plenty of much more serious accidents. Chopping off and/or hammering fingertips. Getting shot with a nail gun right in the sternum. Stabbed by rogue coworkers and thugs breaking into your apt. Getting robbed all the time cause, if you're poor you have nowhere to put your expensive tools. Some dudes die every now and then. Heat stroke and cramps that don't let you work. Being a pharmacy technician for a mental hospital. Pharmacist was old, depressed and angry, and the on-duty technician was an overweight, snappy, tweaked-out military wife with 2 kids who have bad behavioral issues. All worked in a really cramped space with no AC or heat, and the pharmacist would constantly quiz the technicians on what drugs did, which was fucking annoying, and would throw me off, then would bitch us out for making a mistake. Long hours, and was not paid shit for the work we did. Got some funny stories, though, about how the on-duty tech's son shit his pants then wiped it on another student at this special needs school. Or when the same kid pissed in front of the class screaming nonsense. Been working in the same supermarket since 2009, making €400 to €450 a month. On the holidays I get paid a little extra. Getting old, not as agile as I used to be, have trouble moving larger boxes. Today my boss called me into his office. I've known this guy since 2009, even went to his house a few times to have barbecue. He says he usually doesn't do this, but is going to make an exception because he knows me and I'm a good person. I'm getting fired in June. It's not his decision, and there's nothing he can do. All he can do is warn me in advance so that I can start making preparations for it. I will get €2,000 in severance payment, roughly 9 months worth of rent. I ask him why. Recently, Human Resources has introduced a company policy of not keeping people beyond a certain age in the payroll because they can't work as hard as younger people, they get injured more easily, and then the company has to pay them while they recover. It's wasted money. Plus, they have recently signed a contract with a temp work type agency which contracts workers, usually immigrants, and then makes them work for the supermarket chain. This is safer for the company because subcontracted workers have no link to the supermarket and therefore can't sue them if something goes wrong. Plus, the agency usually operates with 3-month contracts, so when they want to get rid of a worker, they can just choose to not renew his contract, and this saves them money because they don't have to pay severance. Over the next year, the company will fire most of its employees and replace them with subcontracted workers. None of this is his decision. I don't know what I'm going to do. I've been working here for so long. I started working here when I was 21. I was always looking for a better job, but never found any. Most other jobs paid €350. I have no qualifications, and I'm too old for university. I'm thinking of putting the €2,000 into a trading platform like Binance and trying to get lucky. Employer now has to compete with the unemployment office. Tried explaining this to my boss when they laid off the unskilled labor. Tried negotiating a pay raise. Immediately told I could be replaced for less. Explained the people that were laid off were making more the second I put gas in my tank. Complete confusion in their faces. You'll make more working, and on. Repeated myself, explaining the guys they laid off because they weren't valuable are in fact making more at home without ever leaving the house. With overtime you'll make more, he said. Conversation ended, couldn't get motivated at all that day. End of the day, boss man apologized, claiming he had no idea unemployment paid well. Pay bump from $18.50 to $22A, would have rather been laid off. Go through school. Be an ugly loser, girls all laugh at me, don't go to prom. Ignore them, work hard, get good grades. Go to college. Be an ugly loser, girls ignore me, no social life the entire time, people creeped out by me when I try to socialize, and I feel pathetic. Work hard, get good grades. Get a job at large well-known company after failing lots of interviews. Work hard, get all my work done. All coworkers are the same normies that would have ignored or laughed at me before. Get told I need to improve because my communication skills aren't good enough. No longer confident about my promotion prospects. I'm tired, bros. Be metard wrangler. Tooken a sleep overnight shift, comfy, just need to get some people ready and morn. Go to sleep after done some cleaning. Wake up at 2 a.m. to the sound of breathing and nothing else. Walk out of the room I'm in and look around. It is pitch black, can't see shit. Turn on stair light. Like a horror movie, one of the residents slowly walks towards the night, heavy breathing and naked. Fat, old and covered in shit, she also is a hugger, and she reaches out for a hug when she is covered in crap. Nearly shit myself how surprised I was. Got her cleaned up and put her back in her bed. Slept rest of night no issue. Be me. Early 20s. Dropped out of trade school and work a shit minimum wage job with an even shittier boss. Constantly think of quitting. Can't shake the feeling that no matter what job I have I will never be happy. Attempt to explain my feelings towards my peers and loved ones. Get confused looks from nearly everyone, my attitude being misinterpreted as lazy and worthless. Realize I am spending the best years of my life slaving away at meaningless tasks. Realize that I am selling my time, body, mental health, and time to rich assholes who pay me a fraction of what I make them in return. Realize that the average citizen will do this for 30 plus fucking years, and it is normalized in our clown world society. I just want to be happy. I feel the exact same way, except I dropped out of college and went into a minimum wage job. After 2 months of working, everything feels pointless, the same tasks over and over again, the same stress, same realization that every job will suck. Be me. 23. Never go to high school. Never even finish middle school. Find job at a gas station. Get promoted. Get promoted again. But it's just more work for only an extra $1 an hour raise. Pull a double because coworkers call in sick on the nicest day of the year. What a coincidence. Work 14-hour shift. Bought a handgun today. I'm finally gonna do it, bros. Maybe not as soon as I get the gun, maybe not even the day after, but eventually. Be Wagie. Have to work in the cage at a store in the hood. Work with 300 pounds fat dude that farts every few minutes. It's bad and I'm stuck in a cage with them for hours on end. If I leave the safety of the cage I risk getting robbed by natives. Thankfully I work construction now, and I'm no longer a wage slave. 28. Dropped out of high school. Get GED, marry GF at 21. Work 2/5 years we are together. Spend all my time on G and playing with Linux, writing shitty programs in C. We break up after 5 years, I have minus 10k, debt. Go to college for CS at 24. Spend the whole time trading stocks instead of studying, learn Python to find trends in stocks. Drop out after 2 years, Not meant for school, I guess. Continue trading stocks, start applying for jobs using Python. MFW autistically using Python to find stocks has made me better at programming and data science than 90% of college grads. MFW I land in job in the Bay Area making six figures with a shit ton of equity. Feels pretty good, bros, been doing this for almost 2 years. Was gonna kill myself at 30 if I didn't make it. Be me, also early 20s. Wagie through high school. Hate every second of it. Some other kids are cool, but most coworkers are degenerate adults. Working class parents. Dad loses job during high school. Mom dies. Dad can't help pay for college. Study comp sci. Grind 24/7. Feel like I'm missing out on the entire college experience. Get one shitty internship. Then a better one. Full-time job offer right before COVID. Turns into a permanent remote software dev job just like that. About $7K month starting salary. Expenses are about $1,100 month. It gets better and ons, it's fucking hard, but you can make it. Work from home. But it's a call center. It's a call center job. 13 per hour. After a couple years of push pulling, cold calling, customer satisfaction surveys for ISPs, grocery stores, developments, and the very rare but enjoyable media news surveys, now get a chance to move on to talk to people about their health insurance. Few hours of job training recently, stressed the fuck out, but it would allow of non-crazy hours, and it is in cold calling because it's all through and sponsored by the like of Medicare insurance and DHHS. Because it's a call center job, even with work from home you are constantly monitored and breaks are timed, including bathroom breaks. State minimums only. At least I can read and phone post during the gaps of dialing, I guess. Make $1 over minimum wage, but that will decrease to just $25 once the state updates in July as my wage stagnates again for another year. Once COVID is over with, I hope to get back on track to something livable. I've reached the point of unironically finding God and dumping what I can into SHITCOINS RBC. Let's be honest. Thanks for listening to my blog post, TEDx talk, and diary entry. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe.